Hey friends, it's Risket, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at some more third-party modules that I've got for my AE Modular system. You might notice that I've actually filled my rack now, so much so that I had to take a module out, which is the Seek 8 over here. So the new addition of these third-party modules that I got, all from Wonkystuff. I got the RBSS, which is kind of like a Turing machine, a matrix mixer, and then these three micro modules here, which is going to be the main subject of the video today. We'll be taking a look at the RBSS and matrix mixer in a future video. As usual, stick around to the end if you want to hear some sound demos using these modules in action. For now, let's go over what these micro modules are. Essentially, they're drum modules. We have the bass drum, rim shot, and hi-hat module. For the uninitiated, these are called micro modules because essentially we've got a bass module hidden underneath these, and that allows you to add these tiny little micro modules and stack them any way that you want. Just to show you what that looks like, we can actually just pull this module right out, and we can see that we've got this sort of red bass module plugged into the bottom, which if I'm being honest was a little bit of a pain in the ass to get in there. But essentially we can now stack these micro modules in like so. Now there really isn't too much to go over other than just showing you what these things sound like and a couple of the features, but I don't think that it's going to be an overly long video. Let's quickly hook up a mixer to the audio output. And just to keep things nice and simple, let's first go over the bass drum module. So obviously we need to trigger this with something. I'm just going to take the A out of the Euclid grid and plug it into the module up here. So we can see that we've got these 4 steps on a 16 grid pattern. So if we turn on the clock, we can hear our bass drum. So we've got a pitch control, goes pretty low and pretty high. We've also got this decay knob, so we can make it nice and short, or we can really open it up. But as soon as you do that, yeah, it sounds like this. This is really good for sort of nailing in the pitch or the tuning that you're after. Then you can shorten that. Now, you might also notice that this actually has 4 inputs. So not only can we use this to receive triggers from multiple different sources, but we can actually create accented notes with this. If we look down here in this yellow sequence, you can see that I've got 2 parts of the grid highlighted. So we'll take that sequence out. And first up, let's just plug it into the second input. So if you look closely, you can see that these are grouped in pairs of 2s. So you should notice that every time we hit one of these yellow notes, we get an accented note. If we were to plug this into the second group, however, we kind of get a louder signal and an accented note. So I'll just quickly touch this back and forth so that you can hear the difference. So yeah, I mean, that's really useful because you can create these sort of cool, almost humanized patterns. Let's just add in a few different steps here. So now we've got like a really cool rhythm going just with our kick drum. So what I'm going to do for this next example is let's have a look at the rim shot version over here. So keep in mind that this is a rim shot and almost goes into clave territory as it says on the product page. I'm just going to take this out and plug it into the second part of our mixer here. Let's turn this up and I'll just turn the kick drum down for now. So we've only really just got a pitch control for this one. Now, just like the kick drum, the accents work the same way on this, so I'm not really going to demo that too much right now, but something that I like to use this for is to create a sharper transient and then use the noise module to get it into more of a snare territory. So one way to do that is to take the same sequence out, and we'll use that to trigger a envelope. We'll take that envelope and use that to open up a VCA. And then we'll take that VCA and we'll plug it into our mixer. Now, just to save on space, in case I want to add in anything later, what I might do is actually take the rim shot, put it into the B part of our mixer, and the same as the other snare there. And then I can take that mixed output and send it into the main part of the mixer, and it just frees up another slot for me to add something in later. Finally, we need to take our noise output to the VCA, and I've actually found the D out to be the best option for this because it just sounds a lot more realistic that way. So let's turn on our clock. We can use the VCA to control the volume of the noise, and the rate of the noise is going to give a different tone. We want a sharp attack and a short decay. And there we go. Playing around with the pitch of that. Yeah, I mean, it's entirely up to you how you want to go about designing that sound, but that's just kind of what I've been doing to get a little bit more of a snare sound out of it. Naturally, you can get really, really creative results with this by taking something like, for example, I'll just take one of these other sequences here, maybe the B sequence, and I'll plug that into the second input. So this way we're going to get some accented notes, but only the 2 points on the yellow grid here are going to be activating the noise. So yeah, lots of really cool creative possibilities when mixing these things together. Of course, naturally, if you want an even more humanized sort of sound, you could do things like plug in some random voltage to the CV input on the noise, just so that the tone of the snare is going up and down a little bit, and playing around with the attack and decay of the noise as well. You're going to go through more cables doing something like that, but I definitely find that it helps add a much more human, realistic sort of feel when sort of doing sound design with drums that way. Finally, let's have a listen to the hi-hat over here. So I'll just take that into the third part of our mixer. Cool. So we can hear that our hi-hat is sort of playing along quite nicely. And naturally, just like the others, we can sort of get some accented notes. So let's just take this other sequence down the bottom here. And we can plug this into the second input of the closed hat. It is very quiet, but yeah, you get the idea. Now, something else that this hi-hat module offers is a open hat as well. So let's just switch that to this bottom sequence. And we've got a decay knob for this. Let's drop the steps on the closed hat. And there you go. So yeah, lots of really cool sort of drum sounds that you can get out of these things. Just turn this back up a bit. And of course, playing around with something like an external compressor, which I've got set up on the Zoia over here, can make things sound a lot more lively too. I think it also goes without saying that these pair up really, really nicely with the castle drum over here, using the castle drum as like a top loop and playing that over the top of these sort of more basic drum sounds can be really, really awesome. Sequencing the drum sounds is a total breeze using the Euclid grid, but of course you could use anything like Logic or the RBSS over here. And of course, there are some fantastic drum sequences on the EuroPi as well. Finally, I'd just like to sort of demonstrate one more kind of janky thing that you can do with these modules that is pretty neat. Let's take the bass drum output, plug that in here, and we'll also take the rim shot output. So the main thing that I'm setting up here is you can kind of use these as filters, not like the greatest filters in the world, but filters nonetheless. So if we take µModule and we plug this into the bass drum, I'm just going to open everything up here. So we can hear µModule working. We can drop the pitch slightly. Very slightly. And we've kind of got like a filtered result. So yeah, and of course that works for the rim shot module as well. Kind of like a high pass, band pass kind of version. So yeah, something that you might want to play around with for some sort of unique sound design. Anyways, I think that's really all there is to cover about these three modules at the moment. So I hope that you enjoyed these sound demos that are going to start playing in a minute. I've got lots more in the works, just for anybody interested. I am still working on a video for the EuroPi. I'm taking it pretty slow because I want to get my head around every single script. So I've kind of been filming it in chunks, but no estimated time for when that will be out. You can probably expect to see a video on a couple more other modules before that one is released. Anyways, if you made it this far, hit the like if you like, and if you don't, tell me why. Please subscribe, check me out on Patreon, and hope that you enjoy the sound demos. Cheers for watching.